This lab will be demonstrating the VMM integration setup and setting. Okay, first we'll log into our Apex server. Then from virtual networking, we can see that there is different type of virtual hypervisor technology we can integrate. We'll choose the VMware. Okay, we'll right click. We'll create a vCenter domain. We'll give it a name here for the virtual distributed switch that will be inserted in the VMware environment. We'll call it VM ACI switch. And then you can see below, we can choose is it VDS or Cisco AVE switch. Of course, we'll go for the VDS VMware virtual distributed switch. We'll pick a dashboard entity profile as per pre-configured in the access policy. And we'll create a VLAN pool. And of course, it will be a dynamic VLAN pool. Okay, we'll give it a name. We'll give it a range as well, from 100 to 199. Okay, so this dynamic range will be automatically trunk to the interfaces between the ACI and the ESXi hostess. I'll click submit. Now we have the attachable entity profile and the domain. We'll go for the vCenter credentials. We have to define the credentials for the vCenter itself. We'll call it VM CRD administrator. And we'll give it a password. We have to make sure nothing wrong with our password. We'll click OK. Now we need to give the vCenter information. We'll give it a name, an IP address as well, which is the vCenter IP address that we need to connect. Now we need to make sure that you having the same data center name identical to what the data center name within the VDS itself or within the vCenter itself. So you have to make sure same data center name in the vCenter identical to the one that you will be adding at the ACI. And of course, we'll choose the credentials. Press OK. And we'll show the channeling and how the flows works from the upstream interfaces of the ESXi host or the VDS to the leaf fabric. We'll go by default, which is the static channel, and we'll make sure that LLDB is enabled since all the discovery of the physical interfaces at the VMware environment will be on the LLDB. Of course, we also want to verify that the same channeling mode is similar to what you have in your virtual environment. We'll click OK. And now at this stage, you should be seeing the hypervisor and the controller. It seems that it's not showing, so I believe there is something wrong. Let us review the faults. And as you can see here, we have wrong credentials. So we need to rectify that information. So we'll go for controller, VMware, hypervisor, policy, and let us rectify the rectify the credentials. Type it again. Press submit. Submit. And the fault should be going now. We can see it's soaking and clearing, and we can see that we have the hypervisor along with all the VMware inside this hypervisor appearing at the Cisco ACI here. So let's have a look even at the vNICs, and this is the virtual NICs. Here we can see there is the virtual NIC as well as the VMware from the vCenter. Now we want to check the faults. I believe the fault is clearing. Give it some time. Okay, now those are the virtual machine, okay, that lives inside the VMware. Now we can tell that our integration is successful since we have retrieved all the information from the vCenter. Let us go to the vCenter itself and try to configure the VDS and make sure that the integration had worked successfully. We click login. We go to the VDS. This is the data center name, and here I'm emphasize that it needs to be similar to the one that in ACI. Now we can see there is a new VDS had been inserted and added. Similar, I mean, this is the one I already added from the EPIC, from the VMM domain. I can see that it appear now, okay, and it's showing. That means my integration had been is successful, since I can see the VDS which I created from the ACI appearing here. Let us configure this VDS itself. Okay. What we need to do here is to configure the uplink interfaces toward the Cisco ACI. We need to make sure that the LLDB enabled. I believe, yes, as you can see here, we have the LLDB enabled, so there will be the auto discovery between the ACI and the VMware. Now we need to add the physical interface of the ESXi host. Here I'm determining what would be the uplink from the VMware level towards my Cisco ACI fabric. I'll choose here whatever host. I can have multiple hosts, of course, so I'm choosing here which host that's connected to my ACI, and here I'll be choosing the NIC card, the physical NIC card. I'll go with the 5. I'll add 5 and 4. Now, after adding those interfaces, I'm here specifying what 2 interfaces will be connected to my ACI. Click next, next, finish, and here I'm good to go. The integration completely done. I have configured the VDS, allocated also 2 physical interface that should be connected to my ACI. They have LLDB enabled, so they can be easily discovered by the Cisco ACI itself. So next thing we need to do, we want to go to the EBG, and we want to assign the VMware domain, okay, to the EBG. Previously, I used to assign the physical. Now here, I will be assigning the VMM domain to the environment, to the EBG. Okay, I can see here, this is the VDS already created in the VMware. I'll choose this VDS. Okay, now the deploy immediacy, how immediate this deployment should happen. Is it on demand whenever there is a request on this EBG for this connection will be activated, or immediate? Immediate mean once you establish the connection, it should work. Sorry, once you establish the configuration, it should work. Now, the resolution immediacy. The resolution immediacy, it depends on how you would configure, how immediate this provisioning will happen. Of course, let us start with immediate. Immediate here means that once the ASXI host is detected, you immediately push the configuration. So that's immediate. On demand meaning not only the ASXI host need to be detected by a LLDB, but also there should be a VMware attached to the VDS itself in order to activate this configuration. The pre-provisioning meaning once you add the VMware, the ABG should be active, up and running, and all the configuration activated. So I click submit here, okay, and now the VMware information. Now we're done with our information. Last thing we want to do, we want to make sure that within the VDS you have a VNIC, okay, that was added having the same naming convention as the EBG itself, okay. So again, we'll add additional EBG here, okay. We'll click OK. We'll go to the vCenter, and we can see here there is a new VMware which is added, similar to the VMware to the EBG. Sorry, we have vSwitch added, port group added, similar to the EBG name at the ACI level. Now we'll go to the VMware itself, and we want to make sure that the network adapter is having the same EBG configuration. Okay, we'll assign it. We'll assign to the VMware environment, to the host, and we'll go operational. And we can see here that we have the IP address information, we have the MAC address information, and in the endpoint name we also have the VMware name, and it's coming from the VMware environment. Okay, we have also the host server name, we have the dynamically allocated VLAN that we had assigned, and we have the